guys. Thanks for joining. I want to give you an update. As I mentioned, we are headed to Africa coming September. We're 30 days away. So I want to give you a kind of a status report on the progress that I've made in getting the trip planned, and kind of give you some insight into the thinking that went into the overall plan. Give you some insights on maybe what you want to think about as you're planning your trip, right? So, like I said, 30 days away. I'm excited. The first entry point is going to be Uganda. From Uganda, I'll be traveling to Kenya, Rwanda, and then back to Uganda. And I'm doing all of that on an East African travel tourist visa. So the stipulation with the East African tourist visa is that you can go between those three countries, come and go, multiple entry, but you have to be out of East Africa within 90 days. So the overall visa is good for 90 days, but you can, like I said, travel between those three countries. So that's the goal. I'll be spending every bit of that 90 days between these three countries. The distribution between the three, I'm not quite sure yet, kind of play it by ear, but we are going to start with Uganda. So that'll be my point of entry. I'm coming in from the U.S. On Qatar. I'm really excited. I've never flown Qatar Airlines through Doha. It's a long flight, 13 hours. So I will be sure to provide some video on that particular aspect of the journey. But once I get to Uganda, I'll settle in, unwind, and kind of prepare for all the fun things that we're going to be able to provide for you. And I wanted to take a quick minute to kind of give you some insight into some of the key things or considerations that you want to engage in, right, before you travel. Documents: visas, passports, medical. Those are the kind of the three general categories. Passport, just make sure your passport is valid. Most countries need it, the validity to be at least 6 months before it expires. Make sure your passport complies. Visas. Every country is different. Every country has its own requirements. So make sure that you check with each country in terms of what the visa requirements are. And make sure that you get those in hand right before you really start doing your reserving all your flights and actually spending money, right? I've got all my visas in place. I'm set to go. And by the way, I've also purchased my ticket to Uganda, because that's pretty much the major expense in this whole ordeal, right? Just touch on medical. It's really important that you have medical insurance when you travel abroad. Check with your current provider to see what, if any, coverage you have while traveling abroad. If not, there are plenty of resources that you can purchase medical insurance. It's really a necessity. I say, not more than highly recommended. It's a necessity. Healthcare in a lot of countries in Africa that I've been to is not the same as it is in the U.S. So make sure, if you don't have insurance, make sure you just have a pocket load of cash, because if you don't have either, they're not going to treat you. It's as simple as that, right? So I'll also provide, in the description and on our website, we're updating that, by the way, as we speak, with some of this detail. Just make sure that you've covered that, done your research, check with your current health care provider, and see what are your insurance, right? See what they cover and what they don't. Fill the gap, all right? So beyond the standard documentation, we have to talk about COVID a bit. COVID, it changes. It seems like it changes weekly, right? Each country has its own requirements, its own protocol. Make sure that you understand what each country's protocol is, and be ready for it, right? Every country these days is requiring that you take and present a negative test result, PCR, some hours prior to boarding. In my case, it's 72 hours prior to um, initiating my flight to Uganda. So I have to have that result in my hand, hard copy. You can't have a soft copy, it's got to be hard copy, okay? Um, so, and then country to country, right? So if I'm going to go to Uganda, as I mentioned, then I'll be going to Kenya. Before I can enter Kenya, I have to find a facility in Uganda where I can take a test again to satisfy Kenya's COVID entry requirements, and so on. Again, make sure that you kind of step through that process if you're going to multiple countries, right? That's very important. It's not, it's a pretty easy process, by the way. I did it in earlier in the year when I was last there, so it worked out well. So don't worry about it. Just make sure that you're prepared, right? Do your research. Yellow fever is required where I'm going. East and West Africa, they require yellow fever vaccination. Another thing that I do, it's not required, but I always take malaria medicine with me. It's prevalent over there, right? Especially in some of the countries I'm going. So I want to make sure I'm covered with respect to malaria. You could get yellow fever and malaria at the same place that I go to anyway, Passport Health. They specialize in international medicine and vaccines. Again, I'll put a link to them in the description below as well, but you may find another resource. Whatever resource you find, make sure that if the country that you're going to, if they require yellow fever, you have to have that in hand, right? And then it's up to you, in terms of your risk profile, what other vaccinations or medicine you want. But I highly recommend malaria, especially if you're going to go to one of the countries that I'm going. And then some general stuff, you want to take, headache medicine, I take Imodium with me just in case I eat something that I shouldn't have, right? So, just standard stuff like that. If you have any prescription meds that you need to take with you, make sure that you have the prescription with you, right? Hard copy, soft copy. You just never know. If you lose it, if you get stopped by the police, at checkpoints, and you have medication with you and you don't have the prescription, you might find yourself in a little bit of a situation, right? So just make sure you have all your prescriptions handy, okay? And then packing. Again, packing is very individualistic. I understand that. Just kind of be aware of what the climate is wherever you're going. The activities that you're going to be engaged in, that will, in large part dictate what you bring. I kind of go very light, so I don't typically get dressed up and go to places that require that. So it's up to you, but just know what the climate is, what activities you're going to do, and then that will kind of drive your packing decisions, okay? So after Uganda, again, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, I'm not quite sure the extent. I have 90 days to play, right, with this visa. But then I'm going to go to Kenya. Kenya I've been to a number of times, the melting pot of Africa. It's Nairobi is very modern, right, but yet you also have a great sense of culture, African culture, East African culture. And the people are great. So I'm planning on spending quite a bit of time just in Nairobi. There's so much to see in Nairobi. It's a big city, the national park, the Elephant and Giraffe Center and the Elephant Orphanage, the Mathare slum is another, I think, activity that you really should. If you're going to spend any amount of time in Nairobi, you should definitely put that on your agenda. Bunch of other things to do. Again, this is kind of a list. You could look down the list and see if there might be something else that you want us to look at. Let us know. Give us, put a comment, right? and we'll put that on our list, and we'll actually, we plan on going to all these places, by the way, as many as we can, and provide you some video footage of our experiences, so you can kind of get a really good feel. If you happen to be wanting to go to Nairobi, you'll know what to expect, right? And so that'll be the first week or so that we want to accomplish all these activities. Beyond that, we want to go to Mombasa, maybe Rift Valley, I don't know, Masai Mara. That's kind of all up in the air right now. We really won't be able to finalize that until I kind of get to Nairobi and kind of get a lay of the land, decide what we really want to do, right? Again, so once I leave Kenya, I'm headed to Rwanda. I've not been to Rwanda. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I'm doing this because I have the East African tourist visa, so why not, right? It's a short hop from Nairobi to Kigali, the capital. So I'm looking forward to that. Some of the key activity that I want to try to get to in Rwanda, Kigali's, again, it's a really neat city from what I understand. The people are very friendly, but there's some really key things that you need to do. I've listed those. I'm going to try to get to as many of those as I can while I'm there. We'll see, right? Again, if there's any other activities that you would like us to explore on your behalf, let me know in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get out there and provide some video for you, right, to review. And so from there, I haven't decided how I'm going to get back to Uganda, whether it's going to be by plane or maybe by bus. I'm not quite sure yet. But this next hop to Uganda is going to be, the length of stay is going to be quite long. There's a lot that I want to do in Uganda. And I'm going to be going all over the country, east, west, north, and south, right? So obviously Kampala is the capital and the primary city. That's going to be my base, right? But there's some history. And Entebbe I want to explore. It's right on the lake. It's beautiful, great beaches. Jinja is the source of the Nile. I've been there before, but I want to provide you an overview. I'm going back so I can show you, that area. It's really cool. Fort Portal is in the west of the country. There's some really great things there. Murchison Falls is nearby. Crater Lakes are in that area. There's just a lot of stunning scenery that I definitely want to capture for you. So that's on my list. Sippy Falls is another must see. So I'm going to do all of that, and however long it takes me to get all of those things on that list done, that's how long I'll be in Uganda, right? So I'm really looking forward to an extended stay in Uganda. Once I leave Uganda, and hopefully it will be by the first of the year, or excuse me, 1st of December, I'm headed to Ghana. Now, after you leave the 3 countries on the East African tourist visa, you're done. You can't go back unless you get a different visa. I already have a multiple entry visa for Ghana. It's still good for another couple of years, I think. So I've got that visa in hand already. So my goal there is to get to Ghana sometime the 1st of December and stay through the 1st of, the year. I have a lot of friends coming for the holidays, so we always get together that time of year and just have a really good time, right? We'll be doing some traveling. I've been all over the country. I've been going there for 12 years, but I will go back to some of the key spots I think that you would enjoy seeing and make sure that I capture that for you as well. Like I said, Ghana is my adopted country, so I don't care how much time I spend there. I can spend up to 90 days there if I want on my visa. So don't know if I'll do that or not, but that's an option open to me. So once I finally do leave Ghana, I'm headed back to Uganda, kind of my home base, right? And then I'll just kind of clean up. I'm going to need another Uganda-specific visa, so I'll apply for that. I haven't yet on that one. I'm not worried about that. That's easy to get. I'll probably do a 15-day quick visa just to, again, kind of gather myself and get packed up and then ready to go home, which is really the next step and the last step. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And so after I leave Uganda, I'll be headed back home. So that's the overview of the upcoming trip. Like I said, I'll keep you posted as these plans mature. If you have any comments or suggestions, we'd want to be able to give you time to incorporate that into, hopefully we'll be able to incorporate that into your overall or our overall plan. Along the way, I'm going to be meeting some, good friends all over in Uganda, Kenya, except for Rwanda. My goal there is to meet new friends, right? And of course, Ghana. So we're going to provide you a variety of different things, right? The people, the shopping, the eating, the music, the dancing, of course, the scenery, the history, the culture. By the time that we're done with this journey, I'm hoping that you and the followers, all of our subscribers, and by the way, we're growing daily, so thank you very much. Much appreciated. I hope we're providing you good content. If we are, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and certainly hit the, the thumbs up button. And by all means, give us advice, suggestions in the comment section. We answer as many as we can. So that, in a nutshell, is what I'll be doing for the next, in 30 days, beginning of September, 4 or 5 months, I don't know what the duration is, as long as I keep going, right? So thank you very much for your time. I look forward to the journey. I look forward mostly to sharing the journey with you. So thank you.